Marathon des Sables is considered the toughest foot race on Earth. So what would convince Cedar Valley College instructional designer Tim Zierlein to embark on this perilous competition?
My friend said, "I have a bet for you. I bet you can't do this." I started to explain it's running through the Sahara Desert. You have to carry all your own supplies. It's the hottest recorded temperatures on Earth. I wasn't that interested in it. He kind of kept upping the bet, and I still didn't take him up on it. And I kind of went home and I thought about it and thought, well, this could be a good way to raise charity. If he's willing to pay this money, there's probably other people that would be willing to do that as well.
With the bet being so close to race day, Zierlein only had a few months to prepare. Luckily, he had his military training and past experience in obstacle course racing to fall back on.
I had done so much training for this event in such a short period of time, this cramming in all this training, that there's another piece of it, and that's the logistical part of it. And I had spent very little time on that part of it. I learned right away I didn't really bring the right food. I brought these military MREs, which are pretty heavy, and other people were using this freeze-dried food, which is a lot lighter. And as a result, my pack was double the weight of everyone else in my tent. This was a concern because when we found out, you don't know what the route's going to be. The route changes every year. And we found out that what's called Dune Day was going to be the first day. This is where you're spending a lot of time up in the dunes, huge, massive dunes that you're going up and down. And to have that on day one is a concern because that's when your pack is the heaviest. Started out on day one and it didn't seem that bad at the beginning. What happened was the wind started picking up and we had this really extreme wind blowing on you. I mean, it was so extreme that sand was actually embedding into my skin. If you get like splinters, it's with wood. This was sand that was like getting inside your skin. That's how strong it was blowing on you. But when I got to the first checkpoint, that was 12 miles in, I already knew, okay, there's something going on here. I was dehydrated, feeling a little sick to my stomach. There was things going on, and that was a surprise to me because 12 miles is nothing to me. I can easily run 12 miles. I did that right before I got on the plane. When I got to the very end of that Dune Day, day one, I was concerned if I was even going to make it. I couldn't eat. I felt totally sick, just lied on the ground, couldn't move. And finally, one of my tent mates convinced me you need to eat. And when I ate, that seemed to fix everything, but it was a big concern, and that turned out that was the hardest day for just about everybody. More people dropped out that day than in all the previous Marathon des Sables combined.
After a rough start to the race through the dunes, days 2 and 3 proved to be a challenge, with each section covering near marathon mileage.
After that day one, you start struggling with injuries, but you got to get up and do it again. I mean, I didn't have anything severe, but you start to form blisters on your feet, start to get pretty sore, and you have to find a way to get up and do it again the next day. And then we got to day 4, which is the long day, and that was the thing that was in the back of everyone's mind. Can I make it through the long day? This is a 60-mile day. And you have to understand that it's a mile in the desert is like 5 miles outside the desert. You're going through deep sand that you're sinking in, high winds blowing on you, up very steep hills where the sand is shifting and you're sliding backwards as you walk. It can be really challenging, and to do a 60-mile day was the big concern for everybody.
After completing the longest stage in the middle of the night, Zierlein was only 2 finish lines from completion.
I've never quit an event. I've always succeeded in all the events, and I was a little concerned that this might be the one that ends up something happening. I feel like everybody is broken in this event, but you just take some time, gather yourself, get refocused, and you can get back in the game. A lot of people get to that point, and then you have to make the decision then. But I've never decided I'm going to quit this. It was always I need to keep going forward.
Despite running out of food on the final day, Zierlein's mindset to keep moving forward allowed him to complete the Marathon des Sables. And while finishing his race through Morocco was reward enough, winning his $10,000 bet and raising almost $12,000 for direct relief made it that much sweeter.